Hey, what's going on? Justin Shamness here, Real Estate Wholesalers Club, where we're all about helping you get to that first deal. Here we are. Hi. We're all about helping you get to that first deal or that next deal paycheck in real estate wholesale. I love real estate assignments. I love real estate assignments almost as much as I love really good, lazy Saturday mornings. uh, Something about Saturday morning always been special. I remember watching Tom and Jerry. Anybody remember watching Tom and Jerry? Tom was always chasing Jerry. Jerry was always getting away. Yeah. I don't know which one I relate to more. Probably Jerry in my life. Well, it's good to see everybody here. We got quite a few folks piling up here into the Zoom room. This is a public Q&A. We're real relaxed here at Real Estate Wholesalers Club. If you're like, what's going on? What is this about? Well, we're realestatewholesalerclub.com, and we do a live Q&A every Saturday at 10 a.m. Central Time. So you might have to do the math for where you live. And it's an opportunity for you to come in and ask questions about real estate, wholesaling, about real estate assignments, lease options, ugly house wholesaling, whatever you got questions about, it's an opportunity for you. In the last few weeks, especially, we've had a little focus on the people in the VIP club here at Real Estate Wholesalers Club, sharing their experiences with acquisitions, calling leads, talking to homeowners, getting contracts, selling contracts, making money. Okay. That's really what we're all in the business for. I don't know anybody in this business that's in this business just because they love to talk about real estate. They want to make money. So, Real Estate Wholesalers Club has a show every Saturday for you. Okay, so I want you to feel free to come in here and join me today. Be my guest. Come on in here. You can pop in and just ask your questions, or you can sit real quiet like a little church mouse if you want to. But we love when people interact with us. We've got a great number of folks here coming in, and then there's a good number of folks that watch us every week. Thank you for your support. Okay, couldn't do it without you. It's good to see Jason and Ed and Nick, Anthony, LaShonda, Sandra, Bob. Good to see you. Mark is popping in here. All right, what's going on today, people? What's happening in your world? Anybody got a story they'd like to share from this week? Anybody having any successes or interesting stories they want to share from their week this week?
So we've got a buyer, but we're dealing with the crazy sellers.
Okay, you have to tell me more, man.
Buyer wants to close quickly. We were told there's 2 dogs in the yard. There's like 5 in the yard, 2 in the house, 3 outside.
Wow.
We weren't told about a squatter. There's a squatter in a trailer. So
I see.
Yeah.
Is this the one that had the 2 trailers in addition to the house?
I wasn't aware even of a second trailer, but yeah, there was, and I wasn't even aware of this other one either. It was I just thought it was just a house. Yeah.
Okay. So it was that one. I've heard about this one through the grapevine. Yeah. Yeah, that's interesting. Well, and there's people living in them, huh? You say there's squatters, and what else?
Yeah, it's this old lady squatter, and she's kind of like went to the buyer when the buyer was on the phone with me, and just kind of like, oh, this place, this and that, and starts just kind of like giving it like the gray cloud effect, and so we're just like, yeah. So I kind of saved it with the buyer, just kind of joking around with him. I was like, don't get stabbed with the needle, and don't let the dogs bite you in the butt while you're walking around. Just give me a call when you leave. And he starts laughing. He's like, all right, man. So So we're still good.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Well, that's cool. So he's still interested in the deal.
as far as I know.
Oh, okay. Well, that's great. Good.
Yeah,
That sounds like a good opportunity then.
yeah, I
Uh,
hope so. Yeah.
yeah. Every deal it seems that I get involved in has a little bit of hair on it. That's my sign language that I invented for hairy deals. See the hair blowing in the wind there. Like that's like Donald Trump's comb over there. I'm just teasing. Okay, so yeah, a little hairy. Every deal gets a little hairy, seems like. And but that's what a creative real estate investor is supposed to do: is solve problems, right?
Mm,
Solve problems.
yeah.
And what else could we say a real estate investor does in the assignment game? He or
Facilitate.
she, yeah, facilitator. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's great.
facilitator.
Yeah. He or she is a facilitator. Yeah.
I got a negotiating story, Justin.
Okay.
If you
Yeah.
care to hear it.
Oh, I'd love to hear it.
Okay,
Please
so
share it.
I locked this lot up right with the seller. She wanted 18 for it. That's the one that I was telling you that she had been trying to sell it for like 3 years, right? So when I found the buyer, because I reverse engineered, I really didn't know what the lot was worth. So I went into PropStream and I found I went into that zip code and I found what the lots were selling for. They were like all over the place, anywhere between like 4,500 all the way up to about 60, right? So I said, okay, well, look like the 45 and the 55s and 6 or 7s or whatever. That's looking like a wholesale number. So, but I'm seeing where this particular size lot looking like it was selling in the 20s. So I said, okay, well, I really don't know. I'm just going to throw a number out there. So when I put it out there with the buyers, when I text the buyers, they started asking me for, how much was the purchase price. I said 22.5, right? I locked it up for 14. I talked the seller down 4,000. So I locked it up for 14. So
Hey,
I had a
nice.
buyer that bid. And
Okay.
he said 22.5. So I get on the phone. I'm talking to the buyer. Well, what happened was this was on a Friday. So I have my phone going to voicemail. So when I woke up Saturday morning last week, this buyer had been blowing my phone up but he had started calling at like 8 that night. So I didn't know until that morning. So when I talked to him, because he bit off of it so quick, in my mind, I'm like, okay, I must have left some meat on the bone because he bit like super fast. So when I'm talking to him on the phone, he's like, yeah, I want to go ahead and get it, blah, 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 blah. And so when I'm talking to him, I'm like, oh yeah, my phone's been blowing up all morning. I didn't had so many people calling about this lot.
Yeah.
I said,
Yeah.
so
Great
he said, well, you said
salesmanship
you
there.
want, he said, you want 22.5 for it, right? I said, yeah. I said, but I've had so many people calling about this lot between yesterday when we put it out there to today. I was like, yeah, that's where we're at right now. He said, well, I want to go ahead and lock it up. I want to go ahead and write up have you write the agreement and lock it up, blah, 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 blah. I said,
Yeah.
okay. I said, well, um, let me get your information and everything. I said, oh, matter of fact, I said, yeah, let me get your information. I'm not 100% sure because my partner just texted me saying that we have some other offers coming in, right? So I said,
Yeah.
okay, well, let me get your information. Da 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 da.
You guys notice how she's working this,
Yeah. So I get
working
his
this guy.
So I
Right.
get his information and everything. We ended up getting off the phone. And so I waited about 30 minutes. I text him. I said, hey, we have like 6 people that are interested in this lot. So what is the most that you will pay out on this? He says 25, right? Because I started off at 22.5. He says 25. I
Yeah.
said, okay. I said, well, let me let me get with my partner to
Have you ever made what was it 21 and then you got
No,
him up?
it started off at 22.5 and
Oh,
then
20.
bumped it up to 25.
So $2,500 at a job, clocking in and clocking out takes
Right.
a while to make.
Right.
But
Right.
you just negotiated.
Squeeze a little bit more out, right?
Yeah, yeah. Isn't it worth it? Right?
So I'm talking about this invisible partner that I don't have. So then I
Yeah.
says, okay. So I text him back. I said, hey man, honestly, If you can bump it up to 26, then it'll be yours. I said, because my partner is getting ready to sign an agreement with someone else. But if you offer 26, you'll beat him out. So then he hits me back. Great, 26 it is. Send me over the agreement. So I sent them over the agreement for 26. Boom.
Yeah, that's
Boom,
awesome.
baby.
Hold on, I gotta ring.
Ring that bell.
Great job, Shonda.
There we go. We gotta ring the bell.
Good job, LaShonda.
That's
Thank you.
awesome.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Like a beast.
I'm
Yeah.
like, I don't even have a partner. That's my invisible person, I guess.
Yeah, great job.
Thanks.
You got a friend in me. Oh my gosh, what an incredible good story, LaShonda.
Thanks.
How long have you been working on those phone skills like that? Because that was pretty legitimately incredible.
I do a lot of studying as far as closing, so probably I guess
Yeah.
within the last year maybe.
Yeah.
But since I've joined this group, I've really been trying to tighten up because I'm real big on negotiating. My strategy is I want to be a freaking transaction engineer. That's my goal.
Yeah.
So
Right. Yeah.
closing is super important.
So when you say transaction engineer,
I mean, goddamn it, when the lead come in and you freaking motivated, I want to make something out of something, some kind of way.
Yeah.
Whether it's subject to, lease option, freaking wholesale, any of them.
Yeah.
That's my goal.
Yeah.
I love that attitude.
Yeah. But sometimes the problem that I run into is sometimes I can't quite identify the opportunity.
I totally understand.
Yeah.
And that's where the experience comes in, right?
Right.
Of having looked at a lot of different things and talked to a lot of people and listened to a lot of podcasts
Right.
and watch a lot of videos and asking a lot of questions, having some smart friends.
Right.
And man, that's the thing. Yeah. Because it literally does turn into, I found a motivated seller. Now, how do I monetize this?
Right.
Instead of, well, that didn't fit the 70% rule, so I guess that's a dead one. Okay, you see the different in paradigm is
Right.
vast, but I feel a ladies group coming on. You know what I'm saying?
Sandra said the same thing.
Sandra, me and you.
Hi.
What's going on?
I listen, I can't come after LaShonda with any good story. I've been right now, I've been getting ghosted a lot. I was talking to actually Mark about that, and it's been like really, really frustrating in terms of that. But I just keep going at it, and just been, what's been really helpful is like, the little group that we have with Mark, we've been making calls together, not just that one day of the week and stuff like that. We've been doing it. We actually were making calls before we got on here. Me, LaShonda, Carl, and Mark. So that's been really helpful in terms of just brushing up on phone skills and stuff like that.
That's awesome.
But just following up. Doing a lot of following up and stuff like that. But just feeding up of other people's energy.
Yeah, and she's kicking ass on the phone too, by the way. Just to let you know, she is kicking ass on the phone, so she's doing unbelievable.
Folks may not know what you guys are referring to with the small group that makes phone calls and so on and so forth. So let me explain real quick. Inside Real Estate Wholesalers Club are other little cell groups that have begun, and they are basically just working together. Mark leads one. There's some others that are coming together, and so they work together to. It's like what I stop in and listen. That's all I do is I just listen, and they handle it all. This is all them. Okay, so I listen to it, and it's like, okay, your turn. Call. Okay, dial the phone. And then when you're done, it's like, okay, you're next. Your turn. Dial the phone. Let's go. Come on. Let's get this. Yeah. Come on. Let's go. And they encourage one another. Okay. And they celebrate one another. And it's a tremendous thing. So if you're not in Real Estate Wholesalers Club VIP, you don't even know about that at all. You know what I mean? But that's what's going on inside here, guys. So if you're looking to plug into something like that, there's opportunities for you. Okay. Opportunities for you. Also, opportunities for you every time we come together. Like today, for example, if you've got a deal you want to look at, or you've got a deal you want somebody to JV with, put it in the chat right here in the Zoom room. Okay. And we'd love to help you. Love to help you. Love, love, love. That's what we do. Hey, LaShonda, that was incredible. But I think Sandra's right about this this girl group. See, that's the little subgroup I'm talking about, you know.
You starting something, Justin. You starting something.
I know. That's what I'm good. See, I'm good at starting stuff and then walking away.
Right. Shit starter, right?
Who else has got a great story from this week? Anybody? Nicholas, you got another story? I thought you were saying in the chat the other day you were having an incredible day or something was happening. Anything? Or
I found a buyer like in 6 hours, like with just from getting the lead in the morning, and then 6 hours later finding a buyer who right now they're competing over it. There's like 3 or 4 of them right now. So I'm just kind of like, I think I'm going to pull LaShonda and be like, I'm not going to answer my phone all day and just see what happens.
Yeah.
Yeah. So many people calling.
Yeah.
Yeah. I need to talk to my partner, Nicholas. And
yeah, there you go.
Yeah, that's perfect.
Yeah.
So, there's a fine line between playing that like a pro, like LaShonda did, and then the old adage that a bird in the hand is better than 2 in the bush. You know what I mean? I've played it too hard before. If you know what I mean. Like I went in too hard on that. But you guys sound like you know exactly what you're doing. And I'm impressed.
With the response I sent them, all of them, and it wasn't really lying. My sister's actually having her first kid. And we're supposed to do the baby reveal later on this afternoon. So I told them, I said, I'll get back to you as soon as we find out. But today's going to be kind of swamped because I said my sister's having her first kid, and I'm going to be an uncle. I don't know if I'm going to be an uncle to a little girl or a little boy. So if you can understand if I can get back to you till Monday, but please keep sending your offers or any questions you have.
Yeah.
So hopefully that buys me some time.
Working them. Where are the leads coming from for these deals around the room here that folks are talking about? You mind sharing your lead source?
Yeah, some were 3 were JV, and then the one I'm just talking about right now is the FISBO, and the other one came from another JV outside of the group. So yeah, like 4 JVs and 1 FISBO.
That's awesome.
Mine's is coming from PropStream. I am targeting one of the lists that I'm targeting is land. So it's coming straight out of PropStream.
Nice.
You guys are crushing it.
Nick's had some success with land lately. LaShonda.
Yeah.
Is that the one that you just closed on?
Yeah, that's
that you made
Friday,
the 3?
Yeah.
And then something else that was a twist in this particular one was the buyer. He has a realtor, so everything kind of switched over from like when I sent him the agreement, he told me that he had a realtor. And so when we were talking, I said, well, okay, well, who's paying the realtor fee? Like, that is your realtor, so you're paying the fee, right? He was like, oh, yeah. I said, okay, well, I don't have a problem with that as long as she knows and you know that you're paying the realtor's fee, then we're good. So he connected me with the realtor, and then of course because this is in North Carolina, we had to use their agreements, the North Carolina, agreement and everything. So I just let the realtor know, hey, I'm not selling the lot, I'm selling the agreement. So this is an assignment. We just kind of went from there. Well, the thing was, when I went back and looked at the agreements, because the agreement that I had with the seller was we pay all the closing costs minus any unpaid taxes, liens, or judgments or mortgages, right? So when the agent sent me over the contract, she had it to where the buyer just pays the buyer's closing costs and then the seller pays the seller's closing costs. So I hit her back. I'm like, hey, the buyer is paying all the closing costs, not his part. And she was like, well, he's already paying you a $12,000 assignment fee, blah, 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 blah. I was like, okay. And then she said, well, I'm not going to call him for $200. I said, well, according to the agreement, that's what it is. So maybe you guys need to go back and look at the agreement. The agreement specifically specifies that the buyer is paying all the closing costs minus any unpaid taxes, judgments, blah, 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 blah. And she said, well, if that's what the agreement says, then I guess that's what it is. I said, well, that's what the agreement says, and that's what it is. But I mean, if it got into a situation where it was going to be a big deal, then I would eat the $200. But I'm not going to eat the $200 because that's what the agreement says. So then she says, okay, well, I'll make sure and remind the buyer of the $200. I said, it's a cut and dry deal. It's sitting right. That's the reason why I sent you the agreement, so you can see what you are purchasing. Right? Am I right, Justin?
You sound exactly right to me.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. You sent him the base agreement so that he could see exactly what he's buying.
Yeah, but like before, when I've done a wholesale deal, I normally do 2 purchases sales agreements. And the reason why is because a lot of times they try to start negotiating your fee with you. And I don't like that. Like, I don't, you'll see my fee when you go to the table to actually close it out, because that's the first thing that came out of her mouth. Well, he's already paying you $12,000 assignment fee, blah, 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 blah. Yep. Like they wouldn't even knew none of that until way later when we go to close.
Yep. That's smart. Does everybody understand what she's talking about? In other words, the assignment fee is pretty hefty here.
Right.
It's just a bare lot. And she got it under contract for 14 and she's got it wrapped up now with a buyer
for 26.
For 26. So a considerable assignment fee created there. And the seller has seen that. Okay. So what she's saying is normally, like the way I talk, it sounds like I'm saying you have to have a purchase and sale agreement like she has with the seller. And then when you find your buyer, you would have an assignment agreement and you would send that agreement over to the buyer, the base agreement along with the assignment agreement, and then have them sign that. Now that is one way to do it. And I do it that way most of the time myself. Okay. Now what she's saying is that one technique or one strategy for kind of keeping it a little bit on the hush hush, so the seller doesn't see
the buyer.
So the buyer doesn't see is to have your purchase and sale agreement with the seller. And then when you find your buyer, instead of doing an assignment agreement right away, you'll have a purchase and sale agreement with them, like as if you were going to do a double escrow close, but that just kind of locks them in, right? She's still going to do an assignment agreement, but she's going to do an assignment agreement when, like at the closing table,
at the end, right?
Yeah, at the title company,
when we get ready to close, and then they're like double close, and then I'll say, well, I just want to sign it that way, because the buyer he's gonna try to negotiate your fee.
Yeah.
Not all of them, but a lot of times. Oh, well, this is $12,000, and because that's the first thing he said. Well, I see what you're doing. You got it at 14, but you're selling it to me for 26. Like, I don't even want to have that conversation.
Yeah.
Until way later. But then sometimes it can blow up, because when they get to the closing table and then they see that if it's a buyer that's concerned about what you're making, then they can back out.
It is possible. Yeah, it is possible. So, you're going to cross that bridge at some point, right? So either earlier in the deal or at the closing. So it's just kind of like up to you. But either technique really works. I'm really thankful that you shared that, because that's pretty smart, and a lot of folks can use that strategy to get it to the closing table without exposing all the numbers to the end buyer, and let them know, hey, that you're making 20 grand on this deal or whatever. If you feel like that might be an issue, it might be a good thing to have that conversation up front. I don't know, so creative real estate's like water, right?
Right.
It'll take whatever shape you need it to, so you be the judge in your deals. I was telling somebody this week, I was like, one of the biggest things in being an entrepreneur and being in real estate investing is learning to listen to your gut. You know what I mean? Learning to listen to your gut.
So basically, she did purchase and sale agreement and then assigned it at the closing.
Yeah, that's how I normally like to do it, because it eliminates all the, oh my God, I'm paying you 12,000 or whatever the number is, because they don't know. So like what I normally would do is the purchase price, the purchase agreement, instead of me sending him an assignment, I would do another purchase agreement for 26,000. So now it's just looking like he's buying the lot for 26,000. Then at the end, I will assign it to assign it to him. But I was doing it Justin's way, the way Justin teach it, but I just learned that I don't like it. I don't like it that way. I'd rather do it back the other way that I was doing before.
And there's nothing wrong with either way.
Right.
Yeah.
Both of them works.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Great technique and strategy. Thanks for sharing that. That would be a great demonstration of things that you could share during a girl session for the girls group. And then you guys
killing
could get
me with this girl thing, Justin.
Then y'all could get on the phone and bang out some phone calls together and really
you brought
hustle,
it up, LaShonda. You brought it up. You got to carry the mantle.
Oh my goodness.
Nick, you got your hand raised all nice and everything proper. What kind of, I'll call on you.
It's all my years of detention as a kid. Yeah, man. So one of the things I was confused about was in terms of like if someone has like a deal like on a rent to own, and they're trying to assign their so it's an option to purchase, right? And they're trying to assign that, and you can't do a purchase and sale agreement with that being the seller name on there. You would need since he doesn't technically own it yet, you would need the seller's name. So in this case, would just putting a JV agreement, because basically he's just trying to wholesale his deal, assign his interest to an end buyer. So in that case, would it be sending that person a JV agreement and then finding an end buyer and assigning all that to him at the end?
This sounds messy. We got to get the whiteboard out here and take notes, because I can't keep track of the train, man.
Sorry,
Hold on. Let's find out where it starts, man. We got a seller. That's where it starts, right? Then the seller has a wholesaler A.
Yeah, wholesaler A. Wholesaler
he's got an option to buy agreement.
Right.
Okay. And then wholesaler number 2 is you.
Yep.
Okay. And he's off. The wholesaler 1 is telling you that you need to fill out a purchase and sale agreement with him.
Well, that's kind of what we're getting at, but there's no way I could fill out a purchase and sale agreement with his name if he doesn't own the actual property yet.
Happens all the time.
Huh?
Happens all the time.
Oh.
And double escrow closings. That's what we're doing in a double escrow closing.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's where I was really confused. I just figured, well, since in my logic, I broke it down where he's just a wholesaler, like how I did on the other deal was he's a wholesaler. I sent him a JV agreement, signed that. We're using his original purchase and sale, his original stuff. So in this case, I would just use his original option to purchase agreement and get the rental terms when I find my end buyer and send that all to title and closing. That's at least logically, that's how I broke it down.
Well, this is a lease option too.
Yeah, so it's a lease.
Okay.
Mind you. So in Texas, they're really strict about that. So I want to make sure that I have the right kind of paperwork that goes associated with it, because I don't want to be held liable for anything either. So it's a rent to own on some vacant land and he's trying to assign that option to purchase it at a set price. So in order to write this up on an agreement, I basically sent him a JV agreement of what the purchase price that he wants us to buy it at. He's trying to sell it.
Yeah. Well, that sounds like the road of least resistance. Yeah, sound like a robot, Nick. I don't know what happened. We missed you there. That sounds like a pretty complicated deal. I would have to sit down and kind of pour over it a little bit and figure it out. But yeah, with the Texas nuance, even that's where I'm mostly ignorant. Okay, so I would not want to advise you wrong by telling you to do something that's not right there, but you might want to connect with Arturo. He's really a Texas guy. Okay, so I mean, maybe he could advise you on the Texas stuff.
Like because the other thing that was concerning, because it had a stamp of delivery, right? But it said rent to own, and on Texas lease deals, it needs to say lease to purchase. The rent to own, they don't like that for whatever reason. So I just thought like kind of like what you said, the path to least resistance on this one would be just getting the JV agreement on the purchase price, finding my end buyer, and then assigning kind of like, you know, what you do is you sign all that stuff over and then send everything over to title with the invoices and the assignment. But he'll have his original purchase option to purchase agreement with the rental terms on it, on the lease terms. And I figured that was just the easiest way to do it, because on a purchase and sale, we wouldn't be able to put his name on it because he doesn't own it.
Yeah. Man, that stuff makes my head swim. I have no fucking clue what we're talking about.
Good morning.
It's so complicated, man. I'm just like, what's going on? Does anybody in here know what he's talking about? And I'm not putting you down at all, man. It's a complicated deal, and I'm just gonna I need you to slow down and take me through it one step at a time, but let's do it another time, man.
Okay.
Anybody else with a story from this week? The last several weeks here on Shut Up Money Show, we've been sharing stories. You guys have been sharing stories, okay? During the week, I've been doing some case studies myself in the VIP. But here on Saturdays, we've kind of been opening up and making it kind of a weekend review type thing. So what's been going on in your business this week, ladies and gentlemen? Anything exciting, or maybe perhaps a question or something we can help you on? As long as it's not too complicated, because my brain...
Justin, I've got something I'm working on. That deal that I had a couple of weeks ago.
Okay.
I sent the agreement off. We had sent a contract to him, then he countered and sent me a contract from his attorney, and it kind of changed the rules on the assignment.
Okay.
And he wants to keep me in the loop.
Okay. Great.
So I got that going
anyway, because you were going to make $1,000 a month on the spread, right?
Well, that's if I got someone in there at, well, yeah, I'm going to be getting $1,000 credit for each month. So I ended up giving him $3,000 a month. So that's going to be the big nut to get covered as I try and find somebody.
I see. Okay, so he's still trying to personally collect the $3,000.
He is. I tried to give him the extra 10 on the price, and he came back. He didn't want that. Let's go back to the original cost, and then he would rebate the $1,000 after the 24 months.
Rebate meaning what?
He's going to give me $1,000 credit
off of the purchase price.
Yes.
Okay. Well. Well, that deal's not as sweet as it was before he fudged it up.
Yep.
Yeah. Because before he was not so greedy on the monthly.
Right.
But now he's talked to his attorney, and his attorney's telling him, oh, well, you better get it all. It's worth bags of gold. Bags and bags and bags of gold.
Yeah.
Does anybody have any thoughts or advice for Ed on this particular deal? Where does it stand right now, Ed?
Well, I got this late afternoon yesterday, so I need to respond to him, and I'm looking at it where he's not going to let me get out. Where my agreement was, that when I sign off on the assignment, that I'm releasing all my liability, and he's saying that tenant shall not assign mortgage or encumber this lease, nor sublet, permit, or of the premises or any part thereof to be used by others without the prior written consent of the landlord, which consent shall not be unreasonably withheld. So it sounds like he's willing to do it.
Yeah. That's a cooperative assignment. Yeah.
But then he goes on to say that, but if the lease is assigned or the premises, therefore, landlord may, after default by tenant, collect from the assignee.
Yeah. Yeah. That makes sense. Yeah.
Okay.
So in other words, if you stop making the payment, he can go get the payment from the guy that's living there. Yeah. That's all fair and square.
So he can go. He's going to go after the person I assign it to, or if he can't get the 3,000, say the tenant buyer stops paying the rent, am I now liable for that 3,000 a month?
Well, I don't know about that, but what that was saying is that if you are in the middle here, you are collecting money from a tenant. The tenant is sending money to you. You're sending money to him. Mm-hmm. If you stop sending money to him, he has the right to go get money from the tenant, the assignee.
Okay.
That's what it sounds like to me. So in other words, if you start playing games with him, he can be like, well, hey, this guy's living in my house, paying rent to this guy, and this guy's, screwing me on it. He's not sending me my rent. I'll just go cut Ed out and go right to the tenant. Yeah. So that's all that paragraph was saying, as far as I could tell.
Because I thought when I'm assigning it to the tenant buyer, I'm releasing all my responsibility to him.
Well, yeah, you would be. No, that's an interesting point. How would you be sandwiched in the middle if you assigned it? Yeah, good question.
Maybe read that again, though, because maybe he's trying to tie him in the middle in case the tenant defaults. So read that very carefully.
Yeah, read it again, man. Let's hear it again.
Okay, so I'll start it. So assignment: tenant shall not assign, mortgage, or encumber this lease, nor sublet or permit the premises or any part thereof to be used by others, without the prior written consent of landlord, which consent shall not be unreasonably withheld. If this lease is assigned, or if the premises or any part thereof is sublet or occupied by a party other than tenant, landlord may, after default by tenant, collect rent for the assignee, substitute or occupant as a party other than the tenant. Landlord may, after default by tenant, collect rent for the assignee, substitute or occupant as the case may be, and apply the amount so collected to the rent herein. No such assignment, subletting, occupancy, or collection shall be deemed to be a waiver of this covenant, or the acceptance of the assignee, substitute, or occupant as a tenant, or a release of tenant from his further performance of the covenants contained in this lease. Consent by landlord to an assignment or subletting shall not be construed to relieve tenant from, again, obtaining landlord's written consent to any subsequent assignment or subletting.
Okay. Did you hear that in there, Rick?
Yeah, I just heard the word assignee a lot.
Yeah. You might. I'm not an attorney, so me reviewing it might not be worth a whole lot, but I would. Excuse me. I'll definitely look it over if you want to email it to me, Ed.
Okay.
And I'll give you some thoughts on it. But yeah, I mean, it sounds to me like contracts are negotiable. So if that's not completely suitable, go through it. Maybe I'll go through it. Maybe you have a buddy that's smarter than me when it comes to legal stuff, and he can go through it or something and make you feel more comfortable about it. But don't hesitate to shoot back to that guy. Hey, I don't understand line 17B. I don't understand 32A and 47 part 1. That needs to change to this. And this here, man, that's steep. Can we do something on this? Because it's going to make it real tough for me. And I don't think you want me to struggle with the deal, do you?
Yeah, Mark and I talked about, if I couldn't get anyone in that price range, within a week or two, to give them a call back and try and renegotiate 3,000.
Yeah.
Great tip there.
I think I would go ahead and review the deal and try to get it as clean as I can, and then I would do the deal and see if I can get it done. That's what I would really try to do.
My plan was to call him back today and say, as far as the assignment goes, I just want to make sure you understand what I'm doing is I am looking for someone to take over and assign this program to, and explain, what the tenant buyer is and what we're going to do. Because I don't know if he understands that or not. He keeps thinking I'm going to be responsible for everything, and I want to be assigning it to somebody else.
Yeah.
Any suggestions on that?
No, I just would want to make sure that, if it were me, I would want to review the contract to make sure that there's nothing in there tying me to the deal in case my assignee defaults,
Mm-hmm.
That draws me back into the program. But if that's not in there, then assignable is assignable. It means what it means. You know what I mean? And when you assign your deal over to somebody else, that means you're no longer a part of it.
Right.
Right. So I don't know. Maybe his attorney is aware of that. Obviously he's consulted legal counsel. So if that guy doesn't know what assignable means and an attorney doesn't know, then I can't help him. But it wouldn't be the first time you would have to educate an attorney. Has anybody in here ever had to educate an attorney on what something in real estate, how it works? It happens sometimes. Yeah. So they don't know everything, although they feel like they may. Some of them. Well, that's still a pretty good deal. I think I would definitely take that one on, Ed. Okay. I would definitely take it on, and you can email me that if you want me to take a look at it.
Will do.
Anybody else got a story from this week? Anybody? It's good to see a lot of folks here. Ray, LaShonda, Larry, Jason. It's good to see you, dude. Jerry, Vernon, Mark, Alan, Sandra, Bob, David. Looking forward to talking to you later today, David. Anthony. What's going on in your world, Anthony? Aaron and Rick. What's going on, Anthony?
Hey, buddy. How you doing?
Doing good, man.
Out of state for a while, enjoying beautiful Tennessee.
Okay. All right.
But in the background, working on a buyer on an Iowa deal. Really screwed up deal. Tenants in the house, haven't paid rent in about a year. Working on a North Carolina deal, JV, and with a couple of guys in the group here. Things are moving along.
Yeah. Okay, good.
Nothing worth sharing at this point, when I hold up a check with my shit-eating grin, then we've got something to talk about.
So let's talk about for a second how the economy is, because if anyone out there is watching, and we do have folks that watch us on Saturday from the outside, they're not a part of the inside club here. They could be. They just haven't made the decision to jump yet. And so a lot of them are sitting on the fence, I think, thinking that the economy is so hot right now and the real estate market is so hot that there's no deals. You can't get a deal to save your life. Can we talk about that for a moment? Because I just simply don't know if I believe that or not. Actually,
bullshit.
Wink, wink. Okay. Are there deals out there?
Yes.
Hell yeah.
Indeed.
So a lot of folks in the club here are getting deals under contract. Okay. Talking to motivated sellers. somebody mentioned earlier about getting ghosted. I assume that means you sent them the paperwork and then you've never heard back from them. Okay. That is something that happens in any economy, but that is a hot market thing too, right? How do we, since there's so many deals still out there, but there's also a lot of buyers out there, how do we tie things down and not get ghosted? Anybody have any advice on that topic?
I just read something yesterday about that basically what you do is you don't send them the paperwork and follow up with them. You follow up with them and go over the paperwork with them so that they can't ghost you.
Yeah. Yeah. So you get out the paperwork right there on the computer with them, and you start at the top and you say, buyer's name, me, seller's you, purchase price is this, lease amount, if it's a lease option, is this. And then you start reading through the terms. Does all of this, do you have any questions about any of this so far, Mark? Does all this make sense? Is that what you're talking about, Mark? Or describe it to us.
Exactly. Yep, that exact thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sometimes it takes a long time, but it's better than getting ghosted.
Oh yeah. I mentioned that before. I don't always do this, me and my team, but it is a good technique to do. And I invented the memo as a 1-page deal so that could be done. Because sometimes you need to go over it on the phone with the seller. And maybe now is a better time than ever to go over it with so maybe we should all start doing this more than just occasionally.
Well, sometimes, Justin, they don't they'll say, oh, well, just send me the paperwork and I'll look over it. To me, that's their way of not really being interested, but just send the paperwork over. Like, you can't really get them to want to pull it up right then and there where you can go over it.
Yeah. Yeah. So in this case, if it were a lease option, you could say, I completely understand, Miss Homeowner. This paperwork that I'm going to send you is less than 1 page long. I need to fill it out. And in order to fill it out, I need to ask you a couple, questions so I can fill in the blanks here. So honestly, if you've got 2.5 minutes, we can go over this thing. I'll get it over to you and we'll have it done. Oh no, well, just send it to me. Okay. Well, it sounds to me like a lot of people tell me that and then they don't get back to me. Are you just being polite and you don't want to tell me no? Okay. You got to confront the issue if you suspect there is one. Right. Anybody else got any tips or advice on something like that?
I've been adding as discussed and then recap the offer with the offer as the attachment. And then sometimes I'll just immediately call right after, be like, hey, I just sent you that over, as discussed, blah, 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 type of thing. Yeah. And that kind of helped kind of ease the pressure a little bit.
So you write a professional sounding email and then you attach the offer as an attachment to the email?
Yeah, the electronic file I send over, the message to them is just really short, but really to the point. Okay. hey, Mike, as discussed, here's that offer for $95,000. I put 60 days on there because it is occupied, and I'm going to call you in a few minutes. That type of thing. And then I just immediately text them and then call, and it worked on the last one anyway. So, not everything works all the time, right? But
yeah. Claude, that's a good one. Ed, go ahead.
Yeah, my suggestion is while you have them on the phone, you have to confirm a time that you're going to get back together.
Yeah.
Why you have them there? Because once you let them go and it's whenever, then it's whenever. So and then you're getting that commitment. And like you said, are we on? Is this something that we're going to do? Because if you're not interested, let's understand each other and then schedule a time and then hope they're there. That's all you can do.
Mm-hmm. Claude Diamond does it a little differently. Okay. He will have the phone conversation. He'll get off the phone with them. put together a video letter of intent. Okay. And then attach his offer packet to the email as well. Okay. Pretty smart, professional, and slick. Anybody ever thought about using a video letter of intent? You know what I mean by that? He makes a short little video, attaches it to the email. They watch the video. It's him. It's personal. Hey, it was great talking to you on the phone. I'm real excited about doing business with you. You can see I'm a real person. And I actually do want to write up this contract right now and get it over to you. So that's what I'm sending to you. It's attached to this email. When you get it, it's going to have a couple things in it I want to point out right away. And you might have some questions too. And that's okay because we have on our calendar that I'm going to talk to you at 2:00. So I'm going to go ahead and get this together, get it over to you. And then I'll talk to you at 2:00. Looking forward to doing this with you. Okay. All right. Have a great day. Okay, that's a letter of intent. You know, he maybe put a little more, you know Claude, he'll put a little more something on it.
Special sauce.
Yeah. So that's not a bad idea either. Okay. Anybody else with any ideas on how to prevent being ghosted? My favorite one is what Ed said, and you guys have heard me say that 100 times probably, is confirm, confirm, confirm. Right? This is an important topic for the hot market that we're in, especially when I'm in a room full of callers, people that are making phone calls to leads. This is an important topic because everybody's getting ghosted here at some point. Everybody's getting ghosted. So how can we minimize the ghostings? Well, confirm, confirm, confirm. What do I mean by that? Well, what Ed was talking about is hey, I'm going to send you this. You want me to just send you the agreement? Okay, wonderful. That sounds great. I'm going to send you the agreement. I'm sure you're going to have some questions. Right now would be a great opportunity. If you've got a couple minutes, we could go over it right here on the phone. And I could answer any questions you have. You could jump right into it right there. Or you could say like, confirm, confirm, confirm. Hey, I'm going to send it to you, and then I'm sure you're going to have some questions. So is 2:00 a good time that I could call you again? Will you be around, be able to pick up at 2? You would? Okay, wonderful. At 2:00, you'll probably have some questions for me about the agreement that I'm going to send you, and maybe some other things too. And I might even have some questions. So if everything feels comfortable to you at 2:00, what happens then? Okay. So at 2:00, if you're comfortable, we have a deal. Okay. You move forward then. Okay. So at 2:00, when I call you, you're going to pick up. And if everything's good, we're good to go. Right. See, what I'm doing is I'm like a child. Okay. Right. You like a child, you have to talk to them in repetition and confirm, confirm, confirm. Okay. Right. You put the toilet seat back down. Right. You did. You think you did. Okay. You know what I mean? Everybody that has kids, you know what I'm talking about. Confirm, confirm, confirm. Same way with this stuff.
And affirm.
Yeah. Yeah. And then you might have to inspect what you expect. But yeah, for sure. Confirm, confirm, confirm. But then the going over it on the phone, that's huge, Mark. Thanks for saying that. And then also the video letter of intent, that's pretty sharp. So those are some great ideas. Maybe that will help you spice up your your deal getting.
Hey, Justin, I want to comment on that. So as far as the video thing, that's something else that we could use because I've had sellers be like, well, I don't know who you are. This could be a scam, yada, yada, yada. And I always come back with, hey, we can do a Zoom to let you know that I'm a real person. This is a real business and this is a real thing. Would you be open to doing a Zoom? And then that kind of, it kind of makes them feel a little bit more comfortable. Actually, this last contract that I got it because of that. He didn't want to do the Zoom, but I think because I said something about doing the Zoom, telling him that I'm a real person, this is a real thing, we can do a Zoom, then he went on ahead and he signed the agreement.
Yeah. Nobody's doing that, I don't think.
I have kind of a funny story. I was going to do a Zoom with somebody but then I sent them, I used Loom. Every time I send an offer, I just use Loom for a real quick. Hey, it's Mark. Just wanted to let you know that that I'm a real person, blah, blah, blah. Here's the offer, blah, blah, blah. They said, okay, well, we don't need to do the Zoom now. I met you because you did that short little 2-minute video.
Yeah.
So I didn't have to do the Zoom afterwards. They just signed the contract.
Yeah. Yeah. It makes it more real, right? Everybody out there is scared to death of scammers. I mean, for a lot of people are scared. I don't know this person. I mean, they haven't seen the house and they haven't come to look at it. And I mean, he sounds like he's a smart person and he knows what he's talking about and everything. I mean, he didn't sound like a scammer, but I mean, what scammer does, you know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? And so I don't, but then you get a video email from the guy and you watch that and you're like, oh no, this guy's for real. No, he's not from Nigeria, and I'm not trying to say everybody from Nigeria is a scammer, but man, I've run into a bunch of Nigerian scammers. Okay. And I don't know why. All right. And I've had people accuse me of being Nigerian and I don't, I don't even, I'm like, okay, so people are scared of the scammers. They're out there in great force. All right. So that video stuff, that's a solution. I like it. Anybody else with a tip about that? So that's an actual story, Mark, of a guy where you did it in the video thing and it actually played out and the guy signed the deal. You didn't even have to have a second meeting with him then.
No. And the thing is too, is like, I'll just do it like I'm on the video here, like it's not like I'm all set up. Well, I don't wear a tie anyway, but I'm not all set up as some I'll be wearing my hat sometimes, whatever it is. I'm just going to be me. I'm not going to be somebody I'm not, just me. So
yeah, I love it. Yeah. Yeah. I probably wouldn't want to do one of those meetings in this particular set right here. But yours looks pretty good. Mine looks like a game show. Alan, what's going on? You got your hand raised like a proper gentleman, sir. Let me call on you.
Yes, sir. I think I learned from you. One of your flashcards says, pardon my language, fuck ambiguity. So in my letters of intent, I put there that, this offer will self-destruct by 5 p.m. if I don't hear from you. So that kind of gets me to know instead of the ghosts sometimes.
That is a super good point, sir. We forgot to mention that. What about making your contracts expire? I know a fella that does that, and he'll tell you that his contract expires at 9 p.m. tonight. Please let me know before then. Well, if I don't get back to you tonight, can I call you in a couple days after I've, looked through this and done this and that? Nope. Offer expires tonight. I'm sorry. I've got a lot of other deals and a lot of other business I need to do, and I can't tie this up for 48 hours. So you let me know by tonight. What is that? What do we call that?
Reluctant buyer.
Scarcity.
Fear of loss.
Yeah, here's what I like to call it. It's fear of loss, but it's also this. I have a right to have a high self-esteem and feel good about myself all the time. And I just don't feel good about things when you're dragging my ass out for days and days and days. So this is how I do business. That's pretty smart. Pretty smart. What do you think about that? Anybody using the expiration date? How many people in here are using the expiration date? Alan is? Anybody else? Man, I'm surprised. The expiration date is a moneymaker. I can tell you in the big business world, all of those type agreements, letters of intent, everything have expiration dates. They all do. None of ours do. Yeah, we're just like, yeah, hope you get back to me. We ought to change that, y'all. Okay? We ought to change that. Make it by 9 o'clock tonight. Make it by 10 a.m. tomorrow morning. Well, sir, this isn't going to work because I'm going to have an answer by 10 o'clock in the morning. Well, I'm not going to be able to have an answer by 10. See, I need to visit with my wife, and she's at work. She works the third shift, and she comes home, and she's in bed, and she'll sleep until about 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and then she'll get up and have to have her coffee and a shower, and then I won't be able to have a conversation with her till 4:30, and then I got about 2 hours before she goes back to work. Okay, sir. So if I change the expiration here to 9 p.m. tomorrow night, will that give you enough time to do everything you need to do? Okay. So I don't draw a hard line like that when I do this, but you can work with folks, but definitely keep what it reminds me of, y'all. And maybe I'm just a country boy, but have y'all ever been fishing and you throw the line out there, you got the hook baited and everything, and then you're waiting and the fish grabs the hook and you can feel because it'll tug the line and your pole, the tip of your pole will bend down, right? So you're supposed to set the hook by pulling a little bit like this. Have you ever had a fish charge you, like swim in the water towards where you're at on the bank or in a boat and create a bunch of slack in that line? If you're fishing for these folks and you got them hooked, don't let them create a bunch of slack in that line, okay? Because they can wrap it around something, they can get away. You got to keep it tight. Expiration dates, keep it tight. Confirm, keeps it tight. That video idea, awesome idea. That would keep it tight. You got to keep the line tight if you're going to reel in big fish. All right, guys. Sorry for the country boy analogy. All right, there's no fisher people in here. You can't say fishermen anymore. It's fisher people. All right.
Hey, Justin.
Yeah. What's up, Addie?
Good morning. Hey. So I used to use expiration date, but I had to stop using it because, it's kind of like a double-edged sword, right? You want to use it to your advantage, but sometimes you don't want to use it because you don't want to lose the deal or kind of put a pressure on the seller. I had a seller that I had, sent him a contract, and for like a week or so, he couldn't sign it because he just hates using computers. So he was waiting for his sons, to help him out, and it was kind of complicated for him. But eventually he came around to it. He came around to sign the contract,
Yeah.
So, a week after. And even
Yeah.
now I had the contract for 60 days, and now I extended it another 60 days and was okay with it because I never really put any pressure on him. So it's, I don't know. I know realtors, they use it on their contract expiration. This contract expires by this time.
Yeah.
Is that 24 hours? But I was doing that and I was like, maybe, you have to weigh the situation or whatever. So that's just my take on it.
I concur. 100% agree. Again, creative real estate is like water. It'll take whatever shape you put it in. If you need to use it, if you don't need to, you got to learn, like I was saying earlier, to listen to your gut. Well, this one here, I really think I need to do an expiration date, or this one here, I really think the video idea without the expiration date is probably the cherry on top here. So let's go that way. So you got to learn to make judgment calls, right, in your business. And Addie is addressing that point very poignantly. And you're absolutely correct, Addie, 100%. Be confident in your maneuvers, but make your moves. Make your moves for sure. Whatever they are, make sure you're making your moves. Alan, you got your hand up like a proper gentleman again. What's going on, man? Just speak up.
Sorry, man, I'm driving. I got a question about the memorandum of option. I just want to clarify because I'm getting mixed responses. is it necessary for the seller to sign the memorandum in order for you to record that with the county or not?
No.
Okay.
It would be helpful, but it's not necessary.
Okay. The memorandum you have in the lease option package has a line for the optioner and an optionee. That's why I was asking.
Yeah, that's correct. That's correct. So you can use both lines, or you could use the one that says buyer. You remember, in order to have one of those filled out, you're going to have an option agreement signed by or a purchase and sale agreement signed by the seller too. So they've got signatures on stuff here.
Yes, sir.
So
we do have that. I just want to confirm the memorandum, but thank you so much for clarifying.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, to say otherwise would be to say that, you could have a contractor come out to your house and he could fix your bathtub and your sink, and then, you could not pay him. And then in order for him to go down and file a mechanic's lien on your house, he would have to come out here and get your permission. That's just not reality.
Oh, that's super clear.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah. He's already got your signature on the invoice where you ordered the work. In your case, a purchase and sale agreement or an option agreement, and you've got a memorandum you want to file. Yeah. I don't see a problem with it, but again, I'm not an attorney and I don't know all places and what they do everywhere, but that's been my experience with it. So, okay. Anybody with a question? Anybody else?
Yeah. Speaking of that memorandum, you saying that the seller does not have to sign off on there, because I was wondering how that will work as far as the memorandums that I've seen. They have to be notarized, and so I was wondering, how does that work when you may need to record it, but you don't have the seller's signature? Because it's kind of difficult for you to go back and be like, well, I need you to sign this so I can go record it. you know what I'm saying? So
yeah. Well, hopefully in the subject to deal, which is where that actually originates. Hopefully in the subject to deal, you have your seller's permission to do all these things and they'll cooperate with you. Okay. Mm-hmm. My point is that you can cloud the title without the seller signing off on your memorandum.
Got it.
Okay. Because he has already signed a purchase and sale agreement or an option agreement. And, now you can go down and cloud the title if you need to, because he's already gave permission on one of those agreements.
Got it. Makes sense.
Yeah. Yep. So anybody else with anything? We've been going a little over an hour here. I want to cut you loose today and let you get out there, make some phone calls and get some work done. Okay. Anybody else with anything real quick before we call it a day or call it a wrap for this episode? Anybody, anything? I love you guys, by the way. Thank you for hanging out with me on Saturdays. Thank you for hanging out with me anytime. Matter of fact. It's good to see you, Ed, Ray, LaShonda, Larry, Jason, Mark, Jerry, Vernon, Alan, Sandra, Bob, Anthony, Aaron, Rick, Addie, Crystal. We had Dave in here. We had several other people in here. God bless you all. Thank you so much. Stay healthy. Stay happy. Okay. Next, we got a lot of great things coming. Monday, we got Alan Cowgill. Okay. Alan Cowgill, private money, raising private funds. Monday night, 8 p.m. Central Time. Next week, we got a big lineup, man. We're trying to change some things around here, too, with the lineup, where we can have some things that are more basic, and then we have some things that are more advanced, and you know which sessions are which, so you can plug in and dig in deep, launch out into the deep, y'all. Hey, love you. Y'all have a great day, okay? Anything
Thanks,
else?
Justin.
See you later. Thanks, Justin.
Right. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Justin.